We had many different singers in my Sunset Strip days. We went through a lot of singers, but this is the tale of Jade. Now, I don't know if this guy is still alive. I don't think Jade is his real name. I'm not even sure where exactly we found this guy. I think it was probably a Music Connection ad. That's quite possibly how it came about. And this guy, he was almost like a drifter or something. And I think for a short period of time, he lived, at the Shock House with us. It was always known as the Shock House, even though we had changed names, and I believe we were going by Boy Elroy at the time with Jade. But, so Jade, I was always the guy that would have to work with these singers. I was the one with a little bit of music education and, wrote the songs and, kind of knew what needed to happen in the songs and knew the melodies and stuff like that. And Jade kind of looked like Michael Hutchence from INXS. He kind of had that same kind of, swoop, kind of curly, kind of hair. And he was kind of short. He was probably about, I want to say 5'6", 5'7", maybe. And he was in great shape, young guy. I don't know how old he was. I didn't know his last name. I just knew Jade. And, this guy's coming in, this is our new singer, right? And Jade, he, embraced the funk. We were looking for a guy like, we would kind of advertise it as Van Halen meets James Brown. And, we were looking for somebody who could dance and move, spin and splits and, all that stuff, but also be able to sing his butt off, right? With a soulful type voice. And I figured, if we could, kind of capture that lightning in a bottle combined with our funk rock, sound, man, we would be the funkiest, baddest band on the Sunset Strip. And that was my goal. It was like, man, I was gonna bring some of that Southern funk, to the Sunset Strip. And when a band is grooving, when a band is funky, it's undeniable. You can't help but move and be moved by it. We're trying to find the right guy to front that kind of band, to bring the energy, to bring the fun, to be able to do all the things. Now, I've said this probably before, but trying to find a singer is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. We had needed not just a voice, but you needed a look. And that was obvious from the Sunset Strip. You needed a voice and a look. But we had even more requirements. We needed a guy who could talk between songs and engage a crowd, and a guy that could move, and a guy that would bring the energy, because we had a very energetic sound and delivery. So, it was a tough thing to follow, tough thing to find. And, we had a guy, and he had a great soulful voice. But as soon as he tried to talk between songs, he would just suck the air out of the room. And we were always trying to stay in shape and look, good on stage. And we said, hey, we saw an old picture of him, and he had a six-pack and his shirt open. It was like, well, dude, where's that guy? Like, we want that guy in our band. I said, I'll get in better shape. And so he started acting like he was riding his bike to rehearsal. And we go, wow, dude, he lived in, Hollywood or, somewhere over the hill. And he's showing up in his bike, and he's got his bike shorts on and all this. We're like, wow, dude, that is awesome. And one night, I go to a club, I think it was called the Dragonfly, and I see his girlfriend there. And his girlfriend tells me that, well, John hasn't been riding his bike from here to rehearsal. He's been parking at Tower Records on Sepulveda, I think that's the street, and riding to band rehearsal, which is only maybe a mile, 2 miles, maybe 2 miles. So nothing. If at that age, that's nothing to bike that. And so he was lying to us. I wouldn't have minded if he, just said, "Hey guys, I'll park over at Tower and then I ride my bike down," But he was trying to pull one over on us, and I said, "That's it. He's done. And so we canned him, and we went through, singer bingo for a while. And, we even had we've had a couple guys that we did one gig with. One was the guy that we used in Cabo, and I'll tell that whole story. I know I've done it in the live, but there's more details I'll give to that. And then there was one guy who just told me flat out, he goes, my ambition is to just play one show on the Sunset Strip. And his name was Rick. And he had a girlfriend who was a redhead, and the license plate on her car read Fire Pie. Rick was into Pearl Jam, and Rick played one show with us on the Strip. Victor Wooten was at that show. And I think I have a couple pictures of it, in my scrapbook. And Rick was gone. Never answered the phone again. So he did what he wanted to do. He played one show. Can you imagine playing one show and that's your claim to fame? But I digress. So Jade enters into the picture. And this guy had promise. I mean, he's saying all the right stuff. He's into the groove. He's into the funk. And Jade was like a white prince. Jade could spin around and he could do the splits, and he had all these dance moves. And man, he was, as far as that goes, man, he was the guy. Right? And he looked good. He looked like Michael Hutchence. But vocally, he had a thin voice that, we had a pretty aggressive, rock sound. And his voice was just not that good. Now with today's technology, he'd be perfect. You go, oh, we can, compress it and boost it up and do all this. But I just, something in me just knew that, this guy is good. And he's got almost all the requirements, but he just doesn't have a great voice. There's not a lot of power there. And so we kept gaining traction with Jade, and we played, FM station a bunch. And we may have played the Strip one time with him. But mostly it was FM station, and he would, with Jade moving around and us doing our thing, it was pretty good thing. And we did play Coconut Teaser. Now that was the time we played Coconut Teaser, and Len Fagan was the owner of that, and he really liked us, so he had us back a few times. But by this time we were just ripped t-shirts and jeans and just funky as heck. And that's what we did. But Jade, now, this goes back to one night, me and Greg are out once again with our flyers, promoting our band, right? And I think we might have told Jade, hey, Jade, you need to stay home and learn these songs. And we might have given him a cassette deck or a videotape or whatever, and say, you stay home, learn these songs. We're going to go out and promote the band. So one night we go out to the FM station, and we pull up and we see this Jaguar sitting there, like a really nice car. And we see these two, black girls sitting in the Jaguar. Well, we promote, like we go up to any girl we see. And, the driver, she was very attractive. And the other one was a little more middle-aged, I would say. But these were, very cool and very nice. And they had, come out to FM station to hear some music, or whatever. And so we walk up on them and go, hey, how you guys doing? We're in a band. And, oh, come on in. And so we get in the back of this Jaguar, and they're sitting there, and they're kind of, smoking, and so we're sitting there talking to them and telling them about our band. And we say, oh, you gotta come see our band. We've got this singer, and he's like Prince. He does the splits, and he does this. He is the funkiest little white boy you've ever seen. And they're like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, we're gonna come see you guys. I'm like, all right. So, we're playing these shows, and this girl, the girl that owned the Jaguar, drove the Jaguar, she starts coming to our shows. Well, she latches on to Jade like that. And Jade moves out of our little band room, and he moves in with the girl that's driving the Jaguar. Well, I don't know anything really about these girls, but, things can progress very quickly in these days. Girlfriends come, and all of a sudden you're whisked off, and all of a sudden this. And so Jade is living with her and still singing with the band. But I'm starting to feel like this is only going to progress so far, because he just doesn't have the voice. His voice is very thin. And, it's kind of thin in a Prince way, but not as good. So, we're playing our shows. He's living with this girl, and, what ends up happening is Jade calls up Greg and tells him, he says, my girlfriend, she sent me down to the gym because she does massage, right? So apparently she was a massage therapist. Now, this is a funny side story, because one of my friends, musicians that was on tour, he came to town, and he said, hey man, I'm looking to get a massage, while I'm here in town, but what do I need to know? Like, I want to get a real massage. And I said, well, you look in the, I think it was LA Weekly or whatever it was. That was the rag back then. But I said, you look in the back of that, and if it says massage with release, that's not what you're asking for. Because what is release? And I said, release. And he goes, oh, it's like, yeah. And he just kind of chuckled and laughed. And so Jade is a massage therapist, and she would send Jade down to the workout room. She lived in a really nice, swanky apartment, right? And that's where she would have her clients come. But Jade had gone down to the gym to, let his girlfriend do her job. And I guess he came back a little too early, and he walked in on his girlfriend, who was not giving a massage, but giving the oldest profession in the world. She was doing her client, and and he called and he told this tragic story to Greg, and we just kind of shook our head. And it was, I don't know whatever happened to Jade, but it was kind of let him know at the same time that, bro, it's not working out with the band. And I don't know whatever happened to this guy. I don't know his last name. If he's still alive, bro, I'm sorry how things went down. I don't know if we dropped the hammer on him at the same time as his girlfriend, finding out his girlfriend is a prostitute. But that is the tragic and bizarre story of Jade.